Manually creating video captions. Adobe's new speech-to-text in Premiere Pro promises to give you back that time. But how well does it work? More important, how quickly can you get your video online with accurate captions? My name is Chris, and I'm a filmmaker. Just for fun, I tried transcribing a 3-hour video, and wow. But before we get into that, let's compare automatic captions on YouTube to the unedited speech-to-text in Premiere Pro. People who need captions deserve a first-rate experience. There's a lot of them, and the data backs this up. This is why, in addition to getting the words right, I add descriptive text for music and important audio cues as well. And why I've done the work of manually making sure my captions are perfect. So when I'm rushed, being able to save time in the last steps before upload is a huge plus. In announcing the update, Adobe outlined all the reasons captions are important. People will watch your video longer and remember it better. Your video will rank higher in search, and your video will be more accessible. Worldwide, 1 in 5 people live with hearing loss. And that's just the people that need captions. People may choose captions because they're in a noisy environment or they don't want to bother the people around them. Over 20% of the people that watch my videos use captions, and even with my small numbers, that's still a lot of people. I've transcribed all my videos, but this takes well over an hour, even if I'm copying text from lyrics or a script. So how much time can we save? Let's upgrade to 15.4 and find out. And now to bring in the footage and start editing. Okay, so now I have the first part of the edit complete. So now I can caption and transcribe everything up to this point so we can see how it works. So my completely arbitrary and probably inaccurate scoring system, captions in Premiere Pro beat YouTube by a wide margin. No automatic transcription is going to be perfect. But the true measure of how effective it is going to be how much or how little you have to edit it afterwards. If you consider that Premiere Pro actually capitalizes words, uses punctuation, breaks phrases and sentences naturally, and is where I do all my video editing anyway, this is the winner by far. If you really want to see how close the speech-to-text in Premiere Pro is to the final result, rewatch the first part of the video with captions on so you can compare all three. Now, in order to minimize the amount of work you have to do, transcribing your video and creating captions should be the final step of editing. For better results, process your dialogue first. The louder and clearer your audio is, the more likely you will get an accurate transcription. That said, let's see how easy speech-to-text is to use. If it's not visible, open the text panel. It really doesn't matter if you're on the Transcript or Captions tab because you have the option to transcribe the sequence in either place. Concerning privacy, Adobe does send your audio to their servers for transcription. And if you're in Illinois, you can't use the feature that distinguishes between the voices of different speakers. More about privacy in a moment. If you aren't using the Essential Sound panel to mark your audio as dialogue, you won't have this option for the audio source. And if you have dialogue on multiple tracks, as I do in this video, you'll want to choose Mix, but you will likely have better results if you solo your dialogue tracks so there are no other sounds to interfere with your transcription. This short video took me hardly any time at all to transcribe and caption. Way less time than the hours it used to take me to do it manually. And less time than it would take me if I were to send it out to a person or a service to transcribe and then have to wait for the results to come back. And having a transcript in your editor means you can easily find a clip. No more digging through bins or scrubbing the timeline just to find that one phrase. So that 3-hour video that I transcribed only took about 20 minutes. It's a future video about mobile anamorphic filmmaking, and I'll probably turn it into a 20-second montage, but make sure you're subscribed if you want to learn all about it. Once you've transcribed the sequence, go through the transcription to fix any problems, such as wrong words or punctuation. It's best to fix any mistakes here, because if you have to recreate your captions or create them in a different format, you can ensure that those errors don't persist. Next, you create the captions. You have a few options. You can choose to have 1 line or 2, as well as the maximum width of the text. If you're creating captions for YouTube, the format isn't that important. I prefer subtitle because it's more flexible. Once you have captions on a caption track, you can go through and make sure they're perfect. You can edit the text in the text panel or directly on the video itself. If a couple captions are too short, you can easily combine them together with this button. Just know that sometimes it will add an extra space where they were joined. If a caption is too long, you can split it in 2, but it won't split the text itself. Rather, it will create 2 captions with the same text, so you'll have to manually decide where the break is and what words go where. It will split the caption on the playhead unless one of the halves would be less than 1 second long, in which case it splits it in the middle. However, the tool is disabled if the caption is less than 1 second long, but you can cut a caption wherever you want with the razor tool. One thing to know about the captions workflow is by default, the captions will be burned into your video. If you don't want that, make sure you disable the track or disable the captions burn in the export settings. If you choose to export captions as a sidecar file in the export process, it will save you time from having to remember to redo it if you've made an edit that might affect the captions. However, if you have multiple captions tracks, say you have different languages in there, unfortunately, it will only export one of them. So if you need to export multiple languages, you have to do this manually. Before you press publish, make sure your captions exported correctly. You can even do this before you upload. On Windows, the easiest way to do this is with the default video player. As long as your caption file starts with the same name as your video file, it will automatically appear in the list of subtitles. Simply open it up and choose the subtitle. I don't know what's available on other platforms, and if you don't either, I would use VLC Media Player because it's available everywhere and does a great job with captions. If you're concerned about privacy and the implications of sending audio files to Adobe, take a look at their privacy policy, but here's some highlights. Audio files are used for no other purpose than providing a transcription. They're encrypted in transit, and they're deleted once the transcription is done. Due to restrictions in Illinois state law, files will not be analyzed to recognize different speakers, even if that option is enabled. And the transcription is GDPR compliant, meaning that it's processed on servers based in the United States or European Union based on the user's location. If you have any other questions about the privacy aspect of this, I'm not a legal expert, but you can check out Adobe's website for more information or even contact them if you have questions that aren't listed. So keep in mind, this is speech to text. You're going to have to transcribe all the audio cues to give your viewer a good experience, and it may struggle with song lyrics depending on how easily it can understand them. As magical as this is, you will have to do a little bit of editing, but believe me, this is worth it. The amount of time it saves you from having to manually transcribe or the money it saves you from having to pay someone or a service to do it is amazing. And for your first few videos using speech to text, experiment with the different settings until you figure out the ones that work best for you and how you like to do your captions. And put all that time you'll save to good use making more films, because there are people that need to hear your stories even if they're reading them instead. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.